Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have a special guest joining us to give us some insights on the economics surrounding gold, silver, and some of the mining markets as well. With over 40 years of experience and the CEO of Caldas Gold Corp, the ticker symbol is CGC on the CVE. Welcome. We have Serafino Lacano, if I'm saying that correctly. Welcome and thank you.
Yacono, it's close enough.
So where are you joining us from today? I never got to ask.
I'm in Punta Cana in my house for a couple of weeks.
Or you head back down to those Colombia mines?
Yeah, pretty soon. It's time to go back to work.
Yeah. So before we get into some of your opinions surrounding the precious metal markets, I wouldn't mind dabbling in some of your expertise surrounding the mines that you're currently working on. And maybe we'll start with this before we get into the whole spin-off of things, which I'm sure people are curious about. But so far, this mine that you're running is producing roughly 25,000 ounces a year. And by 2023, you guys are expected to expand that to 200,000 ounces, which is what, like an eightfold growth rate, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I want people to understand, though, because you guys are basically spinning off Gran, Colombia, which is, from my understanding, the largest gold mine and one of the highest grade gold mines in Colombia, correct?
Not only in Colombia, it's one of the top 5 in grade in the world.
Yeah, which is absolutely wonderful, man.
It's pretty amazing.
And yeah, so I guess Gran Colombia has a 45% stake in Caldas Gold. So do you want to just give the viewers some insights here?
Yeah, I'll give you a view of the company. The main opportunity of the mine that we have is Segovia, which is the high grade that you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Marmato was the combination of 2 companies that we combined in 2010, Medoro Resources and Gran Colombia Gold. Marmato, it's no slouch to this whole thing. Marmato is also one of these incredible mines. It's been a mining district for 500 years. It's a mountain of gold. And it truly is, when I say a mountain of gold, a mountain of gold. We started this project in 2010. And actually 2009, when I started coming in, I had bought this mine in 1994, Minero Nacionales, that comprised Minero Nacionales, an area called Echandía, Chaburquilla, and this comprised a whole mountain, 3 concessions into a whole mountain. And we consolidated this thing. And when I did the work in 1990, we came out at the time with an open pitable mine with about 2.5 million ounces of gold on the top of the mountain at an average grade of 1.5 grams, 2 grams per ton. Mining changed. Colombia became a little challenging. We left. And I came back again in 2008 and went back and bought the mine in 2009.
So you sold it and then got it back.
And cut it back.
Now, is this something politically related? Because I know a lot of people get a little confused when you're talking about buying assets that are, say, overseas. But from my understanding, I mean, I've looked into some of those mines, and you guys are like at the top notch of production. I mean, just the quality, just the scale of the production, getting that heavy equipment down into those mines, the fact that you've made it so much safer for workers. I think people don't understand the work that you guys have put into these. I did a little due diligence last night, but do you mind touching base on some of the political rhetoric that surrounds the?
Yeah. In the days in the 1990s, it was the end of all the craziness in Colombia. The government was getting a hold of the country. You still had the legacy of the ALN, the guerrillas. You know, it was a challenging time.
These are what the Pablo Escobar days.
It was after the Pablo Escobar days, but you still had the cartels and you had things. So it was challenging. We made a lot of money for our investors. We did a great deal, and we sold it to Minero SA. We sold the mine to Minero SA, a Colombian company that ran it, and then I went back and I bought it. But it was mostly because of the prices of gold have come down, the typical cycle of gold. Anyway, we got this mine and we started drilling in 2010, and we took from our resource of 2 million ounces, 2.5 million ounces in resources, all at once we started drilling, and we did 275,000 meters of drilling in that mountain. That mountain has no mystery. It's an incredible resource.
Yeah.
And It's challenging on the upper part of the mountain because it's still got small miners, traditional miners. But when we drilled this thing, we actually worked out for us to take and do a very large 10,000 to 20,000 tons a day plant to mine about 300,000 ounces of gold a year out of this mountain. And we outlined 14 million ounces of gold and 100 million ounces of silver in this mountain.
Yeah.
This was when gold was a 1600. Then gold crashed to 1,000. Everything went quiet, and we redesigned the project. We concentrated our efforts into Segovia because it was high-grade gold. It was larger production. But Marmato was producing 25,000 ounces a year, and it's producing 25,000 ounces a year since the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And we have touched only 10% of what it's on the vein system in the mountain. We're going to take the production this year to, I believe that we're going to close the year to about 30,000 ounces. We had some difficulties because of the COVID and everything, but I still believe that we're going to close at least with 28,000 ounces.
Do you mind touching base on some of the costs associated, like the cost per ounce getting it out of that mine, just so people are aware? You guys have good margins, don't you? You guys.
We have incredible margin. All in sustainable cost in Marmato once we have fully operational in the mine going into and when I mean all in sustainable cost, that's amortization of the debt, everything in place. It's less than $900 an ounce.
So you guys are definitely not complaining at all. No. So first of all, congratulations, because you guys are absolutely crushing it here. Now, I'm not sure if the gentleman, when you were previously speaking there, because I know Randy Smallwood, which was the CEO of Wheaton Precious Metals, another very prestigious metal company. What way was he involved with the project? Was he just evaluating, or how was he?
No. It's Wheaton has been one of the greatest supporter of this project, and actually one of the smartest guys to see the potential of this thing. I mean, there isn't that many deposits around that they have 6 million ounces of mineable ounces of gold, and still open in size. Randy, we've known for many, many years. I think one of the smartest guys in the industry. He's got one of the greatest formula putting together of making money from gold in the whole industry. Besides, Franco Nevada, Euro Nevada, any of the first guys that started it. But I tell you what they saw. Wheaton did an extensive due diligence on this company. Extensive, when I mean extensive, 7-8 months worth of due diligence. They saw this project coming into fruition from the beginning. They studied it on the environmental side, they studied it on the geological side, and on the social side, which is very important to them. And the conclusion was they wanted this project, and they're the guys that are providing for us $110 million in streaming that makes this project 50%, that $110 million makes the project 50% financeable. The total cost of production of putting this project together, of financing this project, it's going to be $275 million. $110 million is coming by Wheaton via a streaming.
Yep.
Plus Wheaton invested close to $10 million into our company in a straight as a shareholder. So
they're really on board.
They're really on board. We raised 50 million bought deal, Canadian deal that we just completed. And we just raised close to $87 million in a bond that we did that is a fantastic piece of paper, that is a mini streaming for people that don't want to buy streaming company. They buy directly into this. And therefore, with those three financing, what we did is we have now a project that's got 6 million ounces of gold, 2 million ounces to be mined in reserves, the rest measure indicated that we're going to be upgrading to reserves in the next few years as we move along. So you have a project that's going to start with this year with 27,000 ounces. Next year is going to 50. 2023, we're going to be producing 180 to 190,000, and we've been very conservative. Right now sits on almost $90 million US in cash. It's making it This year, we'll do 220, $230 million in EBITDA. And so we have a successful formula and we have a successful team. After we fixed Gran Colombia, we had a hidden asset, which was Marmato. We were getting zero value. I still believe we're getting zero value in Gran Colombia for. We own 57% of Marmato now, and we fully financed, in doing a project. The reason that we spinned it off was our shareholders that we had at the time didn't want us to load up the company again with $250 million worth of debt. So we said, I'd rather own 57, 60% of something than 100% or nothing.
100%.
So spin it off. We spin it off. We created a new market. Gran Colombia still is the largest shareholder, still consolidates, still runs the company. And therefore, but we are not associated with bringing the debt into Gran Colombia. It's a standalone debt in Caldas. The formula worked, and we raised, it's been a pretty amazing story when you think about it. We raised $250 million in this company. And even though the market is very high on gold, there is very few companies in Canada that have raised $250 million in the last 6 months. Yeah. Outside of the big companies. I think that the market is finally starting to realize, we trade compared to our peers. We trade at 2.6 times earning instead of 12 times with the rest of the other guys.
Yeah.
This month we stopped only for 11 days with the COVID problem in our operation. This month we're going to be doing 20,000 ounces of gold combined between the two companies for a month. I mean, it is unbelievable when you think about it. With all the stuff that has happened, we are producing, we're making money, and we're making positive cash flow on this thing. And there is companies that make half of our production, but they work 3 times what we are.
No, you guys
and it trades at $3.
Yeah, you guys are poised to, like I said, just the combination of everything you're saying, and just it's.
Sorry about the excitement, but to me, it's a very exciting thing.
I love it. That's what you want. You want this. You want to get excited about, especially the CEO. Because I mean, if you weren't excited, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But no, this has been phenomenal. So just moving down the topic line here, now that we kind of got a good understanding of what's going on with your business, I wouldn't mind getting some of your professional opinions on what you think about the precious metals themselves, especially right now, just considering what is going on in the U.S., just considering the mass printing of trillions of dollars to deal with the current economic situation, considering Jay Powell warned about the dangers of low inflationary that is expected. So basically, gold is already trading and it's pretty much holding its all-time highs here around that $2,000 US an ounce mark. But what do you think is next for gold here? Do you think we're going to keep moving higher? I don't want to chime in my own opinions because you're the expert here. So I want to hear what you have to say, because usually I'd rant about it, but.
I tell you one thing. One thing is for sure. The emperor has no clothes, okay? And the world is starting to realize it. A couple of great friends of mine, one of them that I respect both of them a lot, Frank Holmes and Frank Giustra. Frank Giustra is probably one of the most visionary guys I've seen in the industry. 4 years ago, he came to me and said, there's going to be a gold market coming up. The United States cannot keep on printing money. And there was no COVID, and there was no crazy events happening in the world, and all these things that are happening. And all at once, this was 4 years ago, he called it and he said, we got to buy company, we got to buy gold, we got to buy these things, I'm going to position myself. And he was very smart in doing what he did. And look at what's happening now. You have governments that are like drunken sailors, all right? They're drinking and they're spending money, even the money that they don't have, without any consequences. For them to just fix something for the moment, they're destroying governments and they're destroying central banks for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's going to take 20 years before interest will go to 4 or 5%. I always carry with me 7, 10 coins of gold coins, always in my briefcase.
Yep.
Nobody bothers you with gold coins. If you pass through US Customs, they look at the coins and they don't say, oh my God, this thing is worth $10,000. Did you declare it? You know, all at once, you have these coins in your hands. And one time I was in Honduras and there was an attempt of a coup d'etat. I'm talking about 1983. I wanted to leave to go to Belize and take a plane. I told the story already in another situation. I was going to Belize and I went to the guy and I had US dollars and I had coins. And this was a pretty tough time over there in Honduras. The guy said, I don't want to take US dollars. Either you give me local currency, I will not take you. I took out gold coins and he said, I'll take those. They will recognize, gold coins will be recognized and gold will be recognized from Papua New Guinea, in the deepest jungle of Papua New Guinea, to the North Pole.
I think you just gave the first example ever where I heard an actual useful story of somebody using gold in the real world. Because I'm a little bit averse from the way you might be thinking about gold, because I'm not actually the biggest fan of the physical stuff, because I used to own a lot of gold. I mean, in fact, you know, I got some silver coins and stuff actually just lying around here on my desk, my little apocalyptic coin, which
nice ones.
Really represents this time. But the reason I don't like the physical is just due to the liquidity aspect of it, because obviously there's a lot of fees and everything associated with it. And the one thing that I've always advocated toward is I love cash flow. I'm going to
show you something and then I'll tell you. Let me see if I can get it over here.
Oh, you probably got something a lot nicer than what I'm pulling up here.
2,500.
Oh no,
silver coin.
You're making me
Roman
jealous.
Coin.
Can you pull it back a little bit? We'll see if we can get it to focus in there. Yeah, no, that's absolutely beautiful, man. I've looked into buying those, and they were a little bit out of my price range for the amount of precious metal I was getting out of them. Maybe we could show off the metals here, and I'll show you.
2,500 years ago, you used to buy with this. You used to buy a month worth of food. Go ahead. But I understand about your physical stuff.
Please, no. Sorry. Yeah, back to my quick point there. Just to say that I've always advocated, and even Buffett's doing this right now too, right? Like Buffett's never been a fan of precious metals because again, you got to store it. You can rub it once in a while. Too many people that aren't in the situation that you were describing wouldn't get enough use out of it, in my opinion, to be worth investing in. But what I absolutely love is the gold mines, because it gives you access to the millions of ounces, and it just comes down to the cash flow. So long as gold goes up, I mean, you're sitting in a situation where you're not going up on the 1 ounce. I mean, you're going up on millions of ounces, and you're going to get it reflected in a liquidable share price. Now, obviously, you're inflicted by some of the market volatility, but which leads me to my next question here. Do you think the U.S. election could even come close to affecting the gold market at all? Because I honestly think the only thing that's going to do good for the gold market is the election, because it's going to get real rocky in the stock market. But something tells me...
But you know what's going to happen. You're damn if you do, and you're damn if you don't.
That's true.
If the Democrats win, it's going to be a disaster. If Trump wins, it's going to be a disaster. So there is no fix. Look, I agree with you on the physical gold. I wouldn't be carrying around 10 kilos of gold because it would be very uncomfortable. What I said, my example was very simple. You know, maybe gold, they will not pay you $1,954 or the day exchange, but they'll pay you, okay? It's got a value, and it's got a universal value, if you want to call it that. I agree with you about one thing about the mines. Not only with a mine you own gold that gets translated into currencies. And no matter what you do, until a year ago, in every currency of the world, gold was up huge.
Yeah.
Except the US dollar. And now finally, he has caught up the US dollars when the central bank of the United States said 0 interest. People realized.
It's just, it's pretty common sense. I mean, realistically, on just the inflation aspect of things, when these people just start printing off money, I mean, the common sense thing to investors should just be to invest in gold. I mean, that's what happened, right? I mean, that's why we're seeing such inflation in real estate prices and asset prices, was because they just keep printing money. And at some point, a lot of investors just want to get out of the US dollar, which leads me to another question as well. When you guys are converting these ounces into currency, into the stock price, are you guys converting it through Colombian currency, euros, USDs? How are you end up translating it it to the dollars here once you get it out of those mines, which I think is another really
No,
interesting.
it's, let me tell you what our breakdown is. I would say 70% of our cost is in local currency,
Yeah,
which is a fantastic thing because the
yeah,
currency, Colombian currency, has devalued from 1,800 pesos to 3,700 pesos. That's a 50% devaluation of currency. But
brutal,
you
but
know, it's like the U.S. dollars. It's like the U.S. dollars. You know, in the U.S. you don't feel inflation, or you don't feel when there is a devaluation of currency, because a Coca-Cola is worth $1 and you still buy it for $1. But your dollar doesn't buy as much and is not as valuable as it used to be. Same
yeah,
thing with the local currency. So we pay our workers in local currencies. We pay our electricity and our cost of a lot of things. And our taxes are based on the production of gold in local currency. So we bring in most of our gold, I would say 100% of our gold gets exported. We sell it to uh, people that buy gold
yeah.
outside of the country. What we do is we bring, what we are obligated to do, we bring the money, we take it out, we sell the gold, we build it, we bring the money in the Central Bank of Colombia in US dollars, and then we take it out in US dollars and bring it to Canada.
There you have it. Yeah, you guys got one hell of a setup, man. I gotta say. So I just want to say thanks a lot for coming on and just giving some of these insights here. And just so people are aware, because I have a lot of dividend investors in here as well. If you guys want to check out Gran Colombia, which actually pays a dividend, one of the few gold companies that does, but apparently Caldas Gold Corp. Let me not scrutinize that too much.
Give me 6 months. Give me 6 months. We'll be paying a dividend there too.
Oh, okay, so we're looking for a dividend in Cal. Well, with those kind of expansions, I mean, I'd hope we get a little bit of cash flow going on. But man, you guys are on your game. So if you guys are interested, go check these ticker symbols out. I'll leave them in the link in the description below. But again, for Caldas Corp, the ticker symbol is CGC on the CVE. And again, just thanks so much, Sarah Fino here for coming on and just flirting around with some of my viewers here, because I'm sure they're going to get some interest out of this. Because I've talked to a few other gold companies, but not with the expertise and not with the diversification and just the know-how of Colombia. Because again, a lot of people get a little worried when they're investing in mines in other countries. But I'll be throwing up screenshots because, like I said, I looked at what you guys are doing in those mines and I was just honestly blown away just by the professionalism.
Well, you got to come and visit it, and then you'll be more impressed. Thank you very much for your time and for your listeners.
I'll have to ask you one day, and maybe we'll head down to Colombia and we'll definitely have to check it out. But yeah, thanks so much. Stay cool, stay awesome, everyone, and I'll catch you guys.
Take care. Bye bye.